All right, YouTube collective. So this video is exclusively for y'all. We had to come back and hit it with the horizontal. Um, Now this message, okay, I have been feeling spirit nudging me to come back and essentially channel what feels like a high priest, more high priestess in the divine feminine intuitive message. In particular, I say that because the other day I had the name Enhedwana pop, pop, pop up in my head the other day. And Enhedwana, I've only seen that name in two places. One is in this Divine Feminine Oracle deck, giving a High Priestess energy, an archetype quite specifically. And then in a video game I played a couple years back called Moon Hunters, where that was essentially one of the auto-generated names if you picked one of the magic-oriented characters. I can't remember what the class was specifically within the game. So if you have been running into Enhedwana in any way, shape, or form specifically, then this message is like ultra highlighted for you. Otherwise, if you've been running into themes around the moon, divine femininity, intuition, which I know are a lot more common, and this is a good chance it's more for you. So we're gonna shuffle this deck that Enhedwana is in. We're gonna see even if she's in here or not. At the very least, we are tapping into the divine feminine collective. And you don't inherently have to identify as a divine feminine like person. We all have feminine energy within our construction, within our lived experience. So, of course, take what resonates, leave what does not. There's this energy with this high priestess channel that's coming through, and with Enhedwana popping up, I'm getting... It's almost as if it's coming with themes of remembrance, remembering who you are, excuse me, and like placing respect on your own name, moving and making moves, living your life as if you know and you remember who you truly are, and thus you move with an element of confidence and perhaps without a tolerance or entertaining of BS and situations that do not serve you, as well as also allowing yourself to change your mind, make a different choice, make a new choice, make a different decision, make a new decision when you encounter a situation and like putting yourself in a new environment, a new situation, for example, and then after being there for, maybe a few moments or what have you, like long enough for you to start to suss out the scene, clock a bit of patterns, suss out and intuit the way things are going, the way things are flowing, and then being willing to also make a decision where even if it isn't quite frankly popular or isn't what the other people, the majority is doing around you, if it's not resonating with you, if it's not in alignment with your energy, if it's not in alignment with your truth, you are going to make the decision that works for you. So that may be the unpopular decision. Essentially not allowing people pleasing to get in the way of you honoring yourself, and leading your life as a high priestess. So this is like an upgrade of not only acknowledging like the abilities, the gifts, and the intuition and the awareness of the high priestess in any given context or situation. This is it's like increased discernment and selectivity about how much of yourself and your energy you give away, and what situations, what environments essentially you stick around in and tolerate for however long. There's a bit more of, if something's not giving, if something's not resonating, if something's not aligning, you're out. Or you're pulling back, you're withdrawing, you're leaving, you're relocating, you're vacating the space. Like, you're not sticking around to people please. Even if people invited you there or brought you there because they recognize your energy, because they recognize your high priestess vibes, things of that nature, you're kind of more like, look, even if you call me over as high priestess and you say my title and name, if you're not actually like giving me the appropriate like attention and treatment around that, like if it's not adding up, like bless you, but I'm just gonna move, I'm gonna be out because I don't need to entertain this for the sake of it. So feel free to, I'm getting this message is definitely for people who have stepped more into your gifts, into your power, into your leadership and abilities. You've likely had experiences with people pleasing in the past in your life. And now you're at the next layer and level of like overcoming that and letting go of that, where you are essentially going to be you're more empowered to make unpopular decisions. And you're more empowered to make the decisions that really honor you and how you authentically feel and what you authentically suss out needing, versus putting other people's wants, desires, needs, and or fantasies involving you above your own. It's like if you don't like the scene that somebody has brought you in, and like you're not really liking the role that they're trying to put you in, you're not vibing with this script, the plot seems trash, or it feels like somebody is trying to make you a supportive character, like a groupie, or just following them along in this movie, and you did not sign up for that kind of role or treatment, you're like, all right, well, I'm out. And that's on period. So let's get some cards to kind of see and bring this energy down to earth. Now, Enhedwana and Divine Feminine, please give us or expand, clarify upon this message, this energy for the collective, particularly for the YouTube collective here in this now. What are we supposed to be knowing? What are we supposed to be getting into? And I feel like the cards are taking their time today. And so sometimes when that happens, it's these energies of, it's also an invitation to slow down and pause and reflect on, like, what is the energy that's really being felt? Really clocking in even more intuitively, seeing like what are the channels and currents of energy buzzing and flowing around. So for this collective, especially because we started off with the high priestess thing coming right out the gate, this is a, I'm not even going to say this is a new era, because I believe you are already in and you already have been in this era. What I want to say is that this is an era of continually and continuously upgrading your ability and your willingness to make decisions that really are in alignment with your intuition. Like the more confident decisions involving your intuition and your intuitive assessments, your discerning assessments. Essentially feeling more confident about making decisions, using your intuition, paying attention to your intuition and how you feel about things. An era in which you're still balancing logic, you're still balancing like that side of the brain, that side of life, and information and knowledge, quote unquote, yet you're not negating wisdom. You're not negating intuitive wisdom, intuitive knowledge as well. You're becoming more of the alchemist. All right, these cards keep wanting to pop out in either threes or one, so I'm going to take this 3 because it keeps coming. Okay, and Queen Esther in the middle, and she was showing herself while I was shuffling the deck, so clearly wants to be there. All right, 3 cards popping out. Left to right, we have Perpetua, the saint of authenticity. I am my authentic self in all circumstances. Okay, I love this. Thank you, holiest divine feminines. I am my authentic self in all circumstances. The saint of authenticity, Perpetua. And like Perpetua reminding me of perpetual, like ongoing, everlasting. So building off of the message we were getting in the very beginning, like with this authenticity, is like you are being you are honoring you, in any and all spaces. Now, this doesn't mean or imply or assume that you're not leveraging tact, that you're not leveraging consideration, that you're not leveraging like consideration and manners, you know, to the best of your ability. You're still doing and practicing those things. However, you're not being a people pleaser. You're not being a doormat, and you're not bending in any type of way that puts someone else above you at your expense, let alone would have you showing up like not as your full self. You're like really letting people, because I feel like also you're letting people know if they care. I almost said if they dare as well, but if they care and or dare to ask you about how and or why you're doing something, you're also more willing to tell them. Like I feel with this authenticity, because I'm looking at like she's using that Christ mudra. Okay, so there's a lot of honesty, integrity, and healing energy around it. And then there's like the letter, the writing she's holding. The writing. And there's something about these things being written. There's like this truth and authenticity in that, like authentic written energy. Okay, tell me why the light like went dark as soon as we did that. Okay, interesting. So I'm getting the sense of coming back to the script, to the movie, to the subtitles and whatever, you're kind of just like, you're taking the script into your own hands. You're consistently authoring your own story. And you're okay to be like, you know, a co-writer, a collaborator. It's not to say that you cannot be a supportive character or presence in people's lives. It's actually quite the opposite. The gag is, though, is like you're not allowing yourself to be just treated like a sidekick or an NPC, like non-player character who just gets like dragged around in other people's experience of the simulation, and they are just treating you like like an auto accessory, or you're just going to be like so down for whatever that you are literally going to go with whatever comes up. And it's like, nah, that is not the era you're in. With Queen Esther in the middle, the morning star. My ego is in service of my soul, and I trust my soul's divine timing. Morning star, Queen Esther. For those of you who saw, what is it? This is a timeless reading whenever it finds you. The reading I recorded yesterday, though, it's a 10-minute video on here, and I believe it's also on TikTok. And I was talking about the Star of Venus and showing my ring as well. So I'm getting more Star of Venus, morning star energy and vibes. So this collective, this may be another sign of synchronicity for you if you've been getting those. My ego is in service of my soul, and I trust my soul's divine timing. In this queen energy, Esther having a big purpose, like really like doing a lot, honestly, to save her peoples and using brilliance. And her feminine brilliance, as well as like her feminine aspects, like really embracing that to her fullness from what I remember. They're really having me focus on my ego is in service of my soul. And following that authenticity message, for those of you who may have been with me for a long time or ever met me in person, the concept of ego comes up. I am somebody who, in spiritual traditions in many places, you'll hear a lot of folks talk about like ego death. And like, you know, the ego going through like spiritual processes where it like quote unquote dies, and we reconnect with like our greater truth. We reconnect with our highest self, our holiest self, our soul, and da da da. And I'm somebody who does believe that, yes, parts of the ego at different moments during our journey, our lived experience, there are moments and opportunities where we really can let go of parts of our ego and put to rest parts of our ego and let them go and essentially have them no longer live or be active in our vibration or in our lives anymore. That is very real. And I accept that and I welcome that. I am not somebody, though, who believes in like, let's just pretending the ego is all bad and that the ego, like the entire ego just needs to be like going under a death and we just have to keep it in that very like destructive narrative. And it's like, it's a no. Our ego houses our personality and our uniqueness. Like for me, ego, I think a lot about our charisma. I think a lot about our humor. I think about our abilities to change up tone of voice, inflection, like personality, these very key specific things about our lived human experience, about the mask and the skin and the vessel and the vehicle that the soul uses here on earth for its missions and purposes, and does so in a very unique way, as unique as the fingerprint, so to speak. So just how there can be parts of the body where maybe, like, you know, we got to keep ourselves clean, we got to like take care of ourselves, and sometimes, or cut our hair, cut our nails, there's times where we let things go, right, for the maintenance. It doesn't serve us anymore, but we need not talk about the whole thing is all bad, or like wanting to kill the whole thing. That's kind of how I feel about the ego. So with that being said, coming together these two cards, essentially, this is about you using your ego, your personality, like the realness of who you are as a character. Like, you and your ego and your soul are more in alignment. Congratulations. You are more in a state essentially of aligned embodiment. You are embodying more and more consistently, and you have been. You've been more consistent with essentially like letting your soul express itself through your ego in like healthy and aligned ways. Not to say we don't have wobbler moments. We're human. It's a part of the path. Yet what I am getting is that overall high priestess, high priestly sovereign. Oh my gosh, I love how I just said that. And then I'm looking at this Pope Joan card. The pontiff, the possibilities. The possibilities are limitless because the soul is limitless. The possibilities are limitless because the soul is limitless. And Pope Joan, I love this, giving us a femme pope. And another high authority. So we started with the authenticity, then we went to the queen, then we went to the pope. And we could even think about like individual person, queen, queendom, and then pope, which technically, like, I'm pretty sure, what did they used to call, I don't know, do they still call it the Holy Roman Empire? I mean, the Pope used to be considered like having like empire level impact, right? You know, because it's like kingdom, queendom, and then we go empire. It's like the next stage up. So what I'm kind of getting, I'm getting this energy where you are more in your high priestess, this queen, king energy and archetype. And at the same token, though, because you are showing up and living in alignment with your authenticity, allowing your soul to essentially express itself with increasing consistency. And when I talk about soul expressing itself, this holds space for a variety of things. Spirit wants me to break down. This is not only about, you know, your sacred labor around your work and whatever your soul is doing in those categories towards some project or labor of love. This is also honoring your soul's callings for rest, your soul's callings for play, for fun, for joy, for conversation, for communication, for mental stimulation, emotional stimulation, intellectual stimulation and curiosity. Things of this, like, of this very, like, pardon me, slow it down. As you continue to embrace being you, as you continue loving yourself and loving yourself enough to do what you want to do what your intuition guides you towards, to do what your soul is calling for, to prioritize rest and joy and labor and service and community and independent time. It's like you're doing it, High Priestess. You are doing it. You're living the fuller life. So now this is about allowing yourself to feel more ease and more stability and feeling more settled in that truth, in that fact. You have what it takes to adapt and flex and be dynamic as is required. You're the High Priestess, in tune and attuned with the seasons and cycles of the environment and the world and the collective you're meant to serve, let alone you're a part of in this impact. Trust. Trust, period. Trust, period. The possibilities are limitless because the soul is limitless. We're going to get some tarot to bring this more down to earth. This reading, as I shuffle these tarot to get ready to pull them out, you absolutely have a major impact. I feel as though right now you are your queen and king self, and you are, I want to say, like, you're taking advantage and making the most out of the platforms and spaces in which you already have access and you have clear impact. And yet I feel as though spirit is like, trust and hold the faith that like your impact is actually going to go much further and much wider than you can see and then you can presently anticipate, at least at the time that this message finds you. And I say that because I feel as though you're focusing on your platforms, you know, your boundaries, the things you have access to, like essentially your kingdom, your queendom. As it is, that's what you're focusing on. Yet with this Pope Joan and like these empire vibes, this empire energy, these empire reminders and considerations, I am feeling, I am getting, I'm sensing. Notice how like, ooh, there we go. The brightness be playing. You are having an impact like beyond what you can see, beyond what you could feel. It's like I'm getting the energy of where this queen, she's really known in her queendom, yet her energy, her light, her aura, her impact is actually so impressive and so noteworthy that basically the people in her own kingdom and queendom have been talking about her to people who live in other lands. Like her reputation is getting out. Like not only are the like citizenry, quote unquote, talking about her, sharing about her glorious attributes, her like divine rulership, the blessing she brings into the land, the impact she's making, who she is. And you'll also have some people gossiping too who are probably haters. We're not going to pay them some mind, but I feel like I have to acknowledge that to keep us like, we're humble in the sense of we understand not everybody's going to like us all the time. What I'm getting though is like, not only are citizens, but like leaders and stuff in other places and lands are also clocking you, are also acknowledging your energy, are also noting who you are. Your energy and your aura is glowing up. Your vibration has not only raised to the point where you've really improved for yourself and your health individually, it's really reached a new milestone level that is key for the impact and the connections and the service you are here to make in this cycle, this era that's unfolding. You've reached a new layer level milestone and benchmark in which it's like your signal is brighter and extending farther so that essentially the next wave of soul aligned relationships, soul family, soul connections, it's like your frequency is out. Your frequency is live and now they can find you and y'all are going to start coming towards each other more. There may even be travel and visits from people from other places, spaces, lands, whether you going there or them coming to you. I do feel a bit more of them coming to you, especially with so much feminine energy and receptive mode and magnetism and you like doing you. Vibes with this reading for sure. Yet with that being said, I feel as though there are going to be opportunities for you to travel, for you to make moves, for you to explore new lands and places and be invited and be welcome, like a distinguished guest type of invitation. So yay, congratulations, collective. This is really awesome and this is really exciting. This is really letting me know that all this authentic work, all this authentic service and authentic sharing has not only elevated you and your leadership and essentially your success on the platforms you're navigating, it has really put you even further and more on the radar of other powerful, impactful leaders, potential collaborators and folks where, you know, through alliances and collaborations, you can have, greater empires, you can have greater impact and service, right? Because let's be honest, part of the reason why in all human societies, cultures, environments, and things like that, leadership always has like subdivisions and breakdowns and stuff, because when they realize that when there's a lot of matter and or a lot of land to be in charge of, it's very difficult for one person to be on top of and responsible for so many things. We only have but so much capacity that we can use in any given moment of time. And so with that being said, it's like they formed all those systems, of nobility with the different titles and things and there's a lot of other crap that goes with it. To keep it simple, though, for this moment, I'm talking about essentially for the organization and administration of the land, of the kingdom, of the empire, things of that nature. And so I feel as though you're going to be making more moves and coming into more agreements in this era with other kings, queens, emperors, empresses, sovereigns, where not only are your more discrete, your domain is likely going to go through upgrades and up levels, you are likely also going to be creating agreements and alliances, treaties, pacts with other domains, so that your overlapping constituencies receive mutual benefits and positive impacts and wellness. Okay, so I'm really getting this very upper level leader, movers and shakers, agreements, people suddenly where folks recognize having their own key lane and maybe their own key abilities, specialties, areas of focus, and acknowledging by coming together in some way, shape, or form through these conscious agreements and these soul alignments, essentially meeting up in the human to take advantage of the soul contracts and agreements that the souls have worked on for whatever is this collective and collaborative labor and co-creation at this time. It's that is coming into fruition. That is coming towards the forefront. Now, some of you also may have been called, I know this is going to sound random, but Spirit wanted me to mention it too. Some of you may have been called to start drinking, again, more teas, more warm liquids, essentially more hot drinks or hotter beverages. In particular, Spirit had me getting into mate. I had got this as a gift, my little cup in bombisha. So if you've been feeling called to drink more mate, this is a special confirmation for you. All right, let's get the tarot and bring this down to earth, collective. I'm very excited for you and congratulations. I genuinely hope that you are loving on yourself and honoring yourself just like Venus, giving yourself Esther-like care, beauty rituals and treatments, cleansing and purifying yourself. For some of you, this may also be, thank you, Spirit. This is an invitation and a reminder, and I'm getting this as well. Spirit has been saying, especially because you know me, I will record and I'll get I'll have my scruffaluppagus where I won't even have the shadow or whatever. I'll be more scruffles. And that's fine. Yeah, at the same token, it's I've been getting a message that kind of came in the other day where Spirit is stay a bit more ready with grooming and having your hair cut. Just having yourself a little bit more primped and tidy. Now, this doesn't mean you need to put yourself under the pressure to be full glam or full face all of the time. That is not what I'm advocating for. And please listen to your intuition and discernment of the day and of the moment, always. What I am getting though is I feel as though Spirit is wanting us to be, especially because they're giving me my example is of the haircut. And they're wanting me to be more consistent with getting a haircut and putting the resources into that. Because sometimes I stretch it out, admittedly, if it feels cash flow has felt a little bit slower or blah, 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 you gotta manage what you gotta manage. And I feel as though Spirit is encouraging me though to continue to let that grooming be the priority, because A, they're going to support it, and B, they want me to be in that groom state so that I'm feeling more consistently physically confident and more physically ready to mix and mingle, connect, and network. It's not to say that I don't feel confident or I don't feel worthy when I am scruffles. You know, that is true. I do. Yeah, I fully admit, like, I feel more confident, more like open, more ready to connect when I feel like, you know, more beautified. Like, the beautification is real. Leo rising energy is real. So spirit is wanting us to have more of that energy because it does have us be more open and thus more magnetic and attractive. And I'm feeling they're saying stay ready so you ain't gotta get ready, because I'm getting more like, essentially, we're going to be either out and about more, or we're going to be requested more. We're going to be invited places more. We're going to have more and more opportunities to meet with others, mix and mingle. So spirit wants us essentially ready to be in that open and mingly energy so that we thrive in these social dynamics and that we show the best and the fullness of who we are with greater ease, so that essentially I'm feeling like the conversations just like, especially when it comes to the people where it might be a more aligned collaboration or partnership, like it just goes smoother. It comes in faster. Not rushing it, but it's like, because remember, we only get delayed, not denied with our blessings. But I'm just getting, it's just going to make things be more optimal. And it's also this energy of, you know, you want to stay ready for like the photo op. I'm getting. It's like staying ready for the photos. Like you may be out and about and you don't want to be, you just don't want to be in a situation where you're shutting yourself down or shutting yourself out of the photo or like that memory moment, or blocking yourself from that activity because you are, yeah, you're like judging yourself too much. Like, because I remember I had a day the other day where like I hadn't shaved, and I was like, I even made a comment to somebody. I did say it out loud. I was like, oh, I don't know. If I'm ready for this. I didn't really like shave or whatever. And they're like, don't worry, you're fine. You're great. Like, don't overthink it. And yeah, ultimately I didn't. But it was something that happened. And that was when spirit like kind of gave me this pretty much channeled message. So for some of y'all, it's like, stay ready so you ain't got to get ready with your grooming, because you are going into really amazing like networking and visual spaces. Okay, and then we get a whole bunch of cards flying out. Spirit. All right. I'm going to start with the one card that, ooh, this is amazing. And then I'll come to the bottom of the deck. The one card that came out face up. As I was telling you, stay ready. We have the Ace of Pentacles. Now for me, aces are blessings and gifts from the universe. Pentacles often represents either a physical, a financial, a resource-based opportunity coming through. If it is relational, it's a very committed and grounded, and there's stakes involved kind of relationship for me. This could be, a lot of times, you know, people talk about job opportunities, contracts, things of that nature. We're going to get some more tarot to flesh this out. Yet with the bottom of the deck being the 10 of Cups. Here we see like happy family and fulfillment. Joy, rainbows in the background, blessings, promises fulfilled, divine promises fulfilled. This is joy, this is closeness, this is emotional fulfillment that's not only independent, this is experience in community and family, chosen family, soul tribe, soul family, however you want to take it. So, based on what I'm getting with this 10 of Cups energy, that's the bottom of the deck. Continue enjoying your community spaces, your soul family, your soul tribe, like these amazing and blissful relationships, and also trust that you are increasingly in an era and period where you're going to be feeling more of that. So if you have been a little bit more in the transition where maybe it hasn't felt as consistent with like a very fun like friend group or like chosen family dynamic, you've been noticing changes because you've been changing, but it doesn't maybe feel like it's all the way there yet or settled. Keep the faith and trust that it's unfolding. Like things are really, like spirit is really bringing this soul family and soul tribe together is what I'm saying, what I'm seeing, what I'm feeling, what I'm channeling. The joy is present, the play is present, the fun is there. Like spirit really wants you surrounded by love and joy and giving and receiving it. Not just giving it, because a lot of that you do quite naturally. This is a lot more receptivity, coming back to that feminine vibe. With the Ace of Pentacles coming through, I feel as though since we have this Ten of Cups, like all this emotional fulfillment already, I feel like though this is also confirming and affirming for me being in a really great place emotionally, having really unlocked and better sustained high vibration and like joyful happiness and fulfillment. Because of that, you've essentially opened up energetically to receive like the new aligned opportunity and blessing that is meant for you. There's something about where this gift, this blessing that's coming in, spirit is really like communicating with me. It's like you needed to go up the mountains and you needed to reach the new heights. You needed to overcome the obstacles and get into that greater vibration, really ascend into your stardom, into your queendom, so that when this comes in, you don't play yourself, you don't minimize yourself, and you recognize oh, thank you, spirit. Okay, that's why they're having me spend so much time with these two cards. The rainbow in this card, this is the gold at the end of the rainbow. This is the gold at the end of the rainbow. It's like because you did this work to do all of this emotional healing and working on your heart and choosing love, choosing compassion, and still choosing to be open to loving connections because you understand that is a blessing of this world and it's meant for you and you want it. Now opportunities and aligned connections are coming in. So let's flip this. Okay. I have then the Fool card, the Two of Pentacles, and the Four of Swords. We have the Ace and then the Two. We have the Fool that came after the Ace, the Two of Pentacles, and then we have the Four of Swords. Four of Swords has been coming out in a lot of readings lately for my collectives. Okay, Ace of Pentacles followed by the Fool. So this opportunity, this opportunity that's coming in, as they often do, this is going to invite you to really take a leap of faith. This is going to be jumping into something new, jumping into a new direction, jumping on a new wave, a new frequency. I love how this card also has the mountains in the background. So it's like by doing that mountain work, you really did get that opportunity. It's like, so please give yourself congratulations for the work you've been doing. You are recognized, High Priestess. You are seen, you are felt. And now it's like at the top of this mountain, at the top of this space of clarity, you're being given this opportunity that requires a leap of faith. And what I'm getting... so here, remember, this is a general collective, so take what resonates, leave what doesn't. I have it kind of like a 2 moments in time, depending on who you are and when this finds you. For some of y'all in this collective, I feel as though you are in this moment of basically considering or about to make a leap, about to jump, but you haven't done it yet because you're kind of debating, how do I juggle these things? How do I juggle these opportunities, like things going on in your life? Like basically, can you receive the new that's being given from the universe while also still holding on to the old or the past? Ooh, excuse me, confirmation burp. Let it go and let it out, collective. That was really funny. I love that. So it's like, are you going to hold on to the old? Or are you going to let it out, let it go? And then with the Four of Swords coming over here, and we see this soldier like in this very like soft purple faded memory. This is giving me sepia tone, except the purple like lilac lavender version, if that makes sense. Now, while the Fool card is acknowledging a leap of faith is to be made, that is what is being offered to you. That is the opportunity. I'm not feeling like you have to be urgent with this or that you have to rush things. What I'm getting is, especially with the Four of Swords after the Two of Pentacles, I'm getting an invitation to like meditate on it, to sleep on it. Essentially, utilize the fullness of the time that you have available before making a decision. It's very important that you connect with your intuition and your spirituality and really affirm and confirm where your soul is guiding you to go, what your soul is calling you to do. And with that being said, they want me to remind and put out there, this is not to say that you have to be afraid of getting it wrong or making a mistake. Because so long as you're doing your best and doing your best to make the best decision with the information and resources you have available in that moment of time, then you're not making the wrong decision. Not to say that moving forward, future information or things may come along where hindsight may be like, oh, maybe I would have chose differently, like hindsight does that. However, it's like we need to stop like demonizing past versions of ourselves and living in these binary dynamics of right and wrong, black and white and everything, because it's really not always there. And I am being called, especially with this rest, being softer, being gentler with yourself. Just because you climbed up the mountain and you went through those obstacles and challenges that were difficult doesn't mean you need to be difficult with yourself by default. Doesn't mean you need to be hard on yourself by default. This is about treating yourself well and honoring yourself as that queen. And for some of you, even with these pentacles, because one is really elevated and one is really sinking and getting lower and lower, and even closer to the waves, the ocean. I'm even feeling like giving an offering to the ocean. It's like for some of y'all, this is an affirmation and confirmation. You don't have to rush the decision, reflect on it. I am getting the vibe though of letting something go. You making the offering, giving it to the ocean, giving it to spirit. It's like receiving the higher opportunity, the more aligned opportunity. And letting the past go. Even the way they're showing me like regions and like landscapes, it's like you went up and you're like receiving this mountain opportunity, and maybe you're being asked to let go of this ocean opportunity at this point or give something back. It's like, whereas maybe the last chapter you needed to be more in the seas, like, you know, on and maybe below the surface of the sea, like that watery space. And now Spirit's like, okay, now we're going into, it was like if this was Avatar training. It's like, okay, we did the water kingdom bit. Now we got to go into the air kingdom bit. It's like, now we got to go and focus a bit more on this element, on this type of wavelength, on this type of arena, this type of magic, so to speak. So transitioning out of the water and coming more into the air. For some of y'all, that may be literal. For others, this is just a simple analogy, a metaphor of letting something go and choosing what is now more aligned. And I'm emphasizing more aligned because we don't need to talk about the past as if it was always out of alignment. It wasn't. I like how on these pentacles, I don't know if the camera can catch it, so pardon me with the colors. They are a little bit of a lilac where the pentacle is. Like, obviously it's gold shiny over there, but the lines inside are a little bit more like a very light purple, lilacian kind of vibe. And with this purple line, that violet energy, it's making me think of higher spirituality, spirit, like our guides, like blessings and stuff. Let's see if the light can come back. Going in and out the dark, but we always come back to the light, baby. So with these lilac lines, what I'm getting though on these pentacles, opportunities, possibly jobs even, for some of y'all specifically, they both were given by the divine. They both have that divine design. Yet this one is becoming more dense, and it's maybe time to let it go. And we go with this one that is higher and lighter. So with that being said, I feel as though Spirit is wanting to remind you that that old opportunity did come from Spirit. It came from them, and you walking away, it doesn't mean you don't have gratitude. It doesn't mean you didn't appreciate it. It's like your spirit guides are affirming they gave you that opportunity for that season and cycle, and you have the gratitude for it. let that be more than enough. Now it's time to let that, maybe it's time to leave that environment, leave that space, let that opportunity go so the energy can be reclaimed by the universe, by spirit, and put back into circulation so that it finds the next person, or it finds you in a more aligned and relevant form. It's time to let it go now. There's no rush though. We do have the rest. Because I also do feel like spirit wants, to allow you to make this transition from a high priest level, so with grace, with compassion, with consideration, with wisdom and intelligence, you know what I'm saying? Not being impulsive, not being naive. A queen and king level decision. Coming from, like I said, a mindful, well-rested, well-equipped place. There's times where, we make decisions in crisis and moves like that. This need not be that situation. This need not be that moment. If anything, spirit has been doing the work for the exact opposite, especially because a lot of things have been coming up lately about working on the nervous system. All right, so we're gonna seal in and close out this reading. Please and thank you, Holy Spirit, with a message of encouragement. We're going to use these loving words from Jesus oracle cards. Now, you don't have to be Christian. You don't have to be religious. Remember, Jesus is an ascended master, a spiritual teacher, from one culture, like many others have been. Like all these characters here, like Perpetua, Queen Esther, Pope Joan, spiritual figures, leaders, Buddha, Kuan Yin, you know what I'm saying? So take what resonates, leave what doesn't. I want to invite these quotes. They do have things from scripture. And like in anything that's been considered a holy text, any of these records from these spiritual beings or transcriptions of their words, right? Because not everything was self-authored. So we take it all with a grain of salt. Yet we share it because these lessons, these guiding principles and precepts are essentially keys towards greater union with the divine, like a direct and personal relationship with God, Goddess, Source, as well as to better leverage, bringing that divine expression and experience here on earth and having a more aligned and divinely guided and fulfilled life. Thank you, Spirit. Okay, we got a couple jumpers. What do we have? 3? Okay, so the power of 3 jumping out. So 3s, 333 will likely be significant for this collective. As well as I'm getting 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 are also very significant. All right. Your heavenly Father knoweth that you have need of all these things. Matthew 6:32. I always love this card. Come unto me, all that you labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Matthew 11:28. And then we have, nothing shall be impossible unto you. Matthew 17:20. Okay, I love how all these cards, these are all Matthew. So for those of y'all who are reading the Bible, then maybe Matthew is calling out to you or some synchronicities. Now clock all of these cards. In particular, all of them show Jesus being very close and a caretaker to the characters on the card, spending time with a very clear inner child, baby, then more inner adolescent, preteen, and then adult. Okay, so for all parts of self and all layers and levels of life, your holiest guides, whether you connect with Jesus or you say whatever, whomever, your spiritual team are there for all parts of you. They've been with you all throughout your life, in all phases, in all seasons and cycles. And you can go to them and talk to them, open up to them, communicate with them at any point in time, and allow yourself to receive, their hugs, their guidance, their love, their comfort. And I love this one. Your heavenly Father knoweth that you have need of all these things. And when I see this card, it's we see this preteen or this adolescent, and they look it looks like the moment in a movie or media where it's the young person is debating, opening up, and sharing, because a part of them wants to share what they're going through, but then the other part of them feels either insecure or scared about opening up. And so it's up for that adult to create that safe and warm, non-judgmental, loving container to say, hey, you can talk with me, you're safe, I won't freak out. I'm not going to judge you, blah, 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 this sort of thing. And your spirit guides are essentially reminding you that they never judge you, and it's okay to come to them, especially in moments of insecurity, doubt, or upset, and let them know where you're at, as well as letting them know what do you want and what do you need. They already know, however, they want you to more openly vocalize and share, because there's a releasing of shame and guilt. There's a releasing of shame and guilt. The more, confirmation, the more you normalize sharing and speaking, communicating with your guides about whatever's on your heart, especially the heaviest stuff, the things that you're most insecure about. There's power in speaking it out loud and releasing it and letting it go. And for some of y'all, this could be journaling as well, of course, you know what I mean? Like, there's different forms of communication. Okay, now they're bringing me, come unto me all that you labor and are heavy laden, I will give you rest. They're reminding me of the Four of Swords card with this one. Okay, so once again, while you're tuning in with spirit, debating, checking things out, wondering what move to make, what direction to go, it's like, take your time, take rest, take a nap, sleep on it, pray on it, meditate on it. While you know you are moving in a new direction, while you know there are new decisions and choices that have already been made, let alone are going to continue to unfold and be made as these things really pick up, spirit is still wanting you to nurture yourself, to nourish yourself, to take it easy, because they also want you making decisions and moves from that well-rested space, because you are, when we're well-rested, we are more in alignment. We're more calibrated, and thus we're more in sync with our intuition, with our instincts, with our guidance. So essentially, the more well-rested we are, the better decisions we can make. To keep it very, very simple. Spirit wants you making the best decisions for you, the most aligned ones, so your rest matters, and deep and true rest. Peace as well, not just like functional sleep. I'm talking about true, deep, like rooted, nurtured, nourished, like, I'm talking like deep, deep, deep rest. Because nothing shall be impossible unto you. So also with this is like, as we get ready to close, this is showing you like an affirmation, confirmation. You are, you're more than capable of all of those plans, dreams, intentions, and initiatives that are ahead of you. So allow yourself to be gentle with yourself in the journey, and remaining patient and allowing everything to unfold in its divine time. I'm getting this energy where it's like Jesus is holding like an image of a child, or like holding a child, but I'm getting the concept of like Jesus being with the inner child, or being with a childlike version of ourselves, and speaking with the inner child, where it's like, I'm getting this energy of a kid expressing like, I'm just going to keep it simple so I can get this example out. Thank you, Spirit. It's like a kid expressing like, I want to be a fireman when I grow up. And of course, right now, as a toddler, like, we're not gonna put them in a training program to be a firefighter. You know what I'm saying? Like, no. However, as healthy and loving adults would do in that situation, they would hopefully encourage and maybe nurture and nourish that curiosity and desire, and affirm that child and let them know like, yes, like, you are very capable, like, you can do this, you know, once you're old enough, you know, once you have the requirements for that station, for that role, you're going to go for it, and, you know, you're going to get it. And I feel as though this was like Jesus kind of in the ear of your inner child, or this part of you that's a little bit more in a developmental state, where you're like, you've given like, what is that dream role, that role you've been dreaming of, that impact you've been dreaming of. So let's just keep the firefighter example. You know, you can change it to whatever you want, but it's like, you've been talking about this firefighter thing, and Jesus is like, it's possible for you. Don't close the doors on yourself. Don't have limiting beliefs. It's not too late. So whatever you're really wanting for, whatever you're yearning for, especially whatever your inner child is yearning for in regards to like a role and impact and service, something to that effect, you're being supported. It's now about being gentle with yourself as you mature and grow up and essentially both age as well as get more and more of the quote unquote qualifications, like whatever they may be, to be a firefighter. You're already on the path and Jesus knows what you need and is pretty much bringing it unto you. You've just got to continue doing your best to develop healthily and stay ready so you ain't got to get ready because the opportunity's coming in. So the best thing you could do is like, let's fast forward age just being up a little bit. Let's say the child really wants to be a firefighter. Okay, what are some of the best things they could be doing to prepare for that? In addition to maybe learning about like, fire and like fighting it and the science and the elements of that, they could also be like working on breath work and working on maybe their physical fitness, like on endurance and stamina, because let's face it, firefighting is tough work. You need endurance and stamina as well as strength. They bust down doors, they kick down doors, you know what I'm saying? Like they have to hook up and take them heavy ass hoses and like, I don't know, open up the fire hydrants and stuff, like that is really physical stuff, let alone emotionally and mentally. So that child then, within healthy reason, especially maybe let's say like young person. I'm going to start to say young person. As a young person, they're athletic, or they engage in fitness activities. You know what I'm saying? They're getting their physical vessel ready for it. Intellectually, they're studying the different parts of the job. Maybe they are involved in the community. Like maybe they have, I don't know, like junior firefighter programs or volunteer things or activities where the senior firefighters open up like some smaller opportunities for like meet and greets or overlapping. So this person like is connecting with them in the community and already building up the relationship, like essentially being in the pipeline for things. So this message must really be for somebody out there. It's like you're definitely in a pipeline of development right now, whether it's in a more conventional field or not. And know that you're supported. Like you are really being trained. You are really being shepherded towards the best. And as long as you allow it and you open up, and you have to claim it. You have to claim your desire. So like what I'm getting from spirit too is if you really have wanted to be a firefighter, just sticking with that example for the ease. It's like if you really wanted to be a firefighter this whole time, I'm getting the sense of like, because you really wanted to make a difference in your community or what have you, Spirit is like, okay, keep going for it. It's like, don't settle for something less. It's like, don't say you want to make this big difference in your community and you want to be a firefighter, but then I'm getting the sense of like you settle for a job where, I don't know, you're just like passing out flyers or something like that. And that is very important work, like getting the word out and informing people about things is important. But that was never like your dream. Like you wanted to be a firefighter. So even though you could pass out these flyers and they're spreading the word or what have you, it's not the impact you're meant to be making. It's not that greater level impact. Hold fast to that dream and keep going in the direction. And rest when it's required. Get your rest. I do feel like there is a moment though coming soon, if it hasn't happened, where for some of y'all you will feel like you're being asked to really let go of something, to give something up. If and when that moment comes for you in the collective, I advise you to really follow your heart and your intuition on that decision and go with the goals and opportunity that Spirit has given unto you. And it will be worthwhile. It will pan out. All right, so comment down below. Please let me know if this resonates with you. Which part of the reading resonates with you? Which cards? Was it Perpetua, Queen Esther, Pope Joan, some of the tarot, or these Jesus oracle cards? I'm Dil Divine, your friendly neighborhood queer muse, oracle, and soul guide. Use the links down below to book a reading with me, a personal. I don't like message or DM people first. It's like, you got to hit me up if you want to connect. I highly recommend it if you do want to get into your specifics, because this is general. So take what resonates, leave what doesn't, and it's timeless. All right, I love y'all. I'm wishing y'all happy days. This is a Sunday at the time of recording. Timeless message. Happy Sunday vibes. Shine your bright. Embrace the star that you are. Know that you're loved and supported, my sacred high priestess. Venus, the morning star, and light it up. All right, I'll be back soon. Mwah.